Tonight's guest on the Verge is the Orioles Senior Director of International Scouting. He is Koby Perez. Koby, thank you so much for joining us.
Nah, it's a pleasure to be on. Thank you guys for having me. I just got back from overseas, so I got to help my wife take down the Christmas tree. So,
well, we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. Just to start off, how's the organization's international signing efforts evolved since you first joined the Orioles?
Yeah, as you guys know, I mean, it takes time to build the international pipeline. Just because deals are created so far early before the signing period begins. So last year I thought we did the best we could with the time that we had, being that we've been here 3 years. But I felt like this year we got a really good jump, and as you can see, a couple of our players were ranked in the top of the class. So, we feel good about the talent that we're bringing in.
Yeah, absolutely. And is there an organizational philosophy on signing, a bunch of players for a little bit of lower bonus versus just a few expensive or more expensive guys? Or is that just where the organization stands as of right now, as we continue to build up the operations?
Yeah, so every year is going to differ. Those guys that get the the $3-4 million bonuses, they're off the board 2-3 years ahead of time. So I think every year will be different. I think it depends what the class looks like, what the market looks like. Those big huge Wander Francos of the world. They there's a handful of them every 4 or 5 years. So we don't want to just give a guy the money just to give it to him. We want to make sure it's the right guy. So, in these 3 years, we've been able to spread it around and feel good about our classes. You got to remember, a lot of the best players in the big leagues didn't get the millions of dollars. Acuna, Albies, these guys signed for $100,000, 300, 400. You know what I mean? And a lot of them have panned out to be good players. So, we're hoping that that's what we get.
Nice. We want to ask you touch on some of those specific players you guys brought in over the weekend. Starting at the top with Braelyn Tavera, what do you and your scouts see in Tavera? And we think it's really encouraging to see that reports suggest that he could stick in center field. But what kind of projection do you guys see with the bat? What type of hitter he can become?
Yeah, we're really intrigued by his tools. We think he has a skill set for 5 tools. Obviously, he's 16. A lot of things still got to go, but we think with our development system, we think we can get the best out of him. I mean, he's got ability to hit the ball over the fence. He's got ability to stay in center field. He runs really, really well. He's a big kid. He's every bit of 6'3", and it's a 6'5", 60-yard dash. So it's a speed power combination that's very rare, and especially in a young kid like that. So, we're excited to get him, and we think, we can develop him into a good baseball player.
So the news about Cesar Prieto caught a lot of Orioles fans by surprise ahead of the signing deadline. It was a very pleasant surprise. Can you tell us how that came together, that the Orioles were able to sign him? And then what is the immediate plan for him as a 22-year-old with a fairly advanced skill set?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we've known Prieto through international tournaments, but obviously the Cuban players are hands off until they're declared free agents by Major League Baseball. So, we had him on our radar, but we never knew when, you don't know when this guy's going to defect, if he's going to defect. You just don't know. And, once we heard that he had defected, we tried to figure out where he was, who was his agent and all those things. Once we finally figured out who it was, we got in contact with him. We had some money remaining in our pool, so we felt like we had to evaluate this guy good, and we did. We had front office members, myself, Eve Rosenbaum, our general manager Mike Elias, and even our major league manager Brandon Hyde evaluate Cesar, and we all went out and saw him. Talked up the Orioles for him. And, there was other suitors for him, but, he kind of liked our situation. And, being that there wasn't very much money out in the market, other teams were in the similar ballpark. he decided that his best opportunity was with the Orioles. So we were really excited, that he chose us, and we were happy to get him at where we got him. And I think, time will tell, but, his track record is pretty good. So, we hope that everything goes well.
Yeah, and we know a little bit about Leandro Arias because he was on the top 50 list of Baseball America of the prospects. But what about Edwin Amparo, who signed for 650,000, which tied for Prieto for the fourth highest bonus given out for the Orioles? Can you give us a little bit of a scouting report on Amparo and what made him such a big target?
Yeah, so Amparo's a good-looking kid. He's a switch-hitting shortstop who can run. Really good bat-to-ball skills. We think he has the ability to play shortstop. We think he's got room to grow. He's every bit of 6 foot. He's lean, he's lanky, and he does a lot of the good things. He's a smart baseball player for his age, and he separated himself kind of from the group. I think, with him, he was pretty high profile, and a lot of teams wanted him. I think the reason we were able to get him was kind of the same reason. We had, Mike go down and see all these players, and they're excited. They're excited that, our general manager's in the DR and saying, hey, we want you. You know what I mean? It's some general managers from some teams don't know about these guys till they're in AA, and our general managers, watching them when they're 14, 15 years old and telling them, hey, we got your eye, our eye on you. And, we got this academy building, and, everyone knows that we're in for the long haul in Latin America. This academy it's a long-term play. It's not just, oh, well, we're here for a year and we're out of here. No, we're building now, and people know that we're going to take the best care of their player as we can and try to make them, get to the major league as soon as they can. So I think that's helped us go a long way with signing some of our players.
I love that so much. One more specific player I want to ask about is Thomas Sosa. To me, just kind of reading what you said, a little bit about him and what was on video and what little bit we know about him, I get immediate like Michel Desaulnes vibes out of him. And we know that's a player that you really like as well. Someone with a lot of raw tools, real potential to develop into an impact player down the road. What are some of his bigger strengths that make him an attractive player?
Yeah, Thomas is, he's 6'4", lean, lanky, left play outfielder who's come a really long way. I mean, when we first saw him, he was 13 years old. He kind of wasn't on the showcase market, but we really liked his swing, and we really liked the way he hit the ball. And we can see that, he had a long way to go as far as growing and getting bigger. So he was one of the guys that we really, really focused in on early before many other teams got a chance to see him. And he kind of bloomed, and we were like on him every day. So, it was to the point where he was like, man, I just want to be an Oriole, because we were in there so much, and we were able to come to terms with him. And after that, he just continued to grow. He became to be a 6'4" kid, hitting balls well over the fence, running, 6'7", and we're excited to get him. And every single day, he's one of the kids throughout the 2 years. Every day you can see the difference of him getting better. So, we think he's on the up and up, and we're really excited about him.
Love it. You mentioned over the weekend that you frequently visit Venezuela and noted how the Orioles didn't really have a presence in that country until recently. But now you guys bring in 10 players in this year's class to go along with one of the big signings last year, Michael Hernandez. What is it about the talent in this region that really has made it a priority for the organization?
Well, there's a lot of talent there. And one good thing about Venezuelan players, they really know how to play baseball. Like if you go to watch a game, sometimes the Venezuelan players, tools-wise, is a little bit below the DR player when they're young. For some reason, the Dominican player, there's so much baseball and so many academies that tools-wise, they develop sooner. But the Venezuelan player, they really know how to play baseball. Like you watch the game, and they may not stand out tools-wise, some of them, but when you watch the game, you're like, wow, this guy's a pretty good baseball player, man. I'd like to have this guy. And that's what you get a lot. And then once it starts getting closer, the signing date, then you really see those tools start to come on. And you're like, man, I'm really glad that this guy's with us, because, those tools are coming. And they play a lot of baseball. Their education level in Venezuela is pretty good. So they're really smart. And, they want to really do well. So, we're excited that now we have a full staff there. I travel there. Our Latin American supervisor, Geraldo Cabrera, travels there. So we're there all the time, So like now we're going to try to get the best talent that we can out of it.
Looking at some of the players who may not have had big signing bonuses or didn't get a lot of notice from national outlets leading up to January 15th, who do you think are maybe some of the under the radar signings that the Orioles have made that fans could get acquainted to quickly?
Yeah, the same thing. There's a Venezuelan player named Gene Mata, who's an outfielder who we really, really like. He was the guy that every event we went to, he was like the MVP of the event. But his tools were a little bit below, some of the other players' tools. So scouts didn't see the run, didn't see the throw, didn't see the power. But when we stayed on him, let's say, let's stay on this guy because this guy's, he's just a good player. Now he's a 6'6", 60-yard dash. Now he's hitting the ball over the fence sometimes. So we feel that, we got a really good deal with him, and we think that he's going to be a player that's going to perform. So, we're excited about adding Gene Mata, among other guys, too.
Now that this class has officially signed, what are the next steps for them? What will the next few months look like leading up to the 2022 Dominican Summer League season?
So yeah, we got a orientation on I believe it starts January 28th in the Dominican Republic. So all of our new signs will report to the Dominican Republic Academy, our current academy, obviously, and our player development staff from the U.S. and the DR will be there to greet them and kind of show them the Oriole way and teach them how to become professionals. So we have a pretty good camp coming up here at the end of the month, and after that they'll all report for the DSL.
When is exciting new academies expected to be finished?
So yeah, as you know, that's fluid. The ball is rolling. I was just there. I saw, you look at it and you can see the shapes of the fields, and you can see some holes being dug and all that. So, there's a bunch of people working on it. But as those, I'm looking forward to go back in 2 or 3 weeks and see the progress. But it should be done within 15 to 18 months is what I'm being told. But weather. Sometimes the exportation, importation gets held up. Everything's a little bit slow now because of COVID, but we're hoping we can get it in that time frame.
Yeah, I just had a house built, so I definitely can, on a smaller scale, see how that is. I heard you say, or I read you say in a different article that Samuel Basallo, the former record-breaking signee, will make his stateside debut in the FCL this season. Can we expect the same with Michael Hernandez, Anderson De Los Santos, Junior Lara, and guys like that?
Yeah, they're scheduled to go to the Florida League. And as I mentioned, man, these guys are young. Basallo could be a junior right now. He's 17 years old. He'll play all year till August as a 17-year-old. And the guy's got, a year under his belt. He had 5 home runs. That would have been his sophomore year if he was in high school, and he's got a year under his belt in pro ball. So we're excited about that entire group. Anderson De Los Santos had a very, very good year at the DSL. Junior Lara had some issues at the beginning because he had COVID, but so he didn't get that many at bats. But we're excited. It's a left center fielder that can run, and he, he's a prospect. We're excited about Michael Hernandez, who shows all the tools, and he's down there. He got stronger at the Instructional League Strength Camp. We're super excited about a kid named Ben Cosme, who's another shortstop who we think is a good-looking kid. And, that's the benefit of having 2 teams. These guys, they play, both shortstops played, both shortstops had at-bats. And, that's why we're doing it, because, they're so young where you can figure out and give people the opportunity to show what they got.
Yeah, and speaking of the age of these literally kids, I mean, Orioles fans, we're excited about, all these guys, their development, but excluding Cesar Prieto, who's a little bit older, more experienced. When can Orioles fans realistically expect to see that first wave of international prospects like hit the shore, proverbially, of the major leagues?
I think this year, if you look at our Delmarva club, I gotta say, there's a good chance that there's double-digit kids out of Latin America there. We have a lot of pitchers that we like. We like Raul Rangel. We like Chase, Luis Ortiz, there's a De Los Santos that we like. There's a kid named Mendez that throws 99. So, I think in Delmarva, you'll see a lot of those arms that we signed 3 years ago because we were late, getting in. I think you'll see a lot of those arms in Delmarva. And then, we acquired some guys in trades that have a good chance to be in Delmarva as well. So I think, we're starting to get these guys to affiliates. And I think going forward, you'll start seeing our upper level start filling with international players. And, we're super excited about that.
To kind of wrap up, and thank you again for your time here with us, but we've hypothesized in the past that the front office is using the Rule 4 draft to kind of raise the floor of this farm system, while the international market is to kind of raise the ceiling. Is that a fair, if anything, a simplistic assessment of what the organization is doing?
I mean, that sounds pretty good. I mean, with the international guys, it takes time for them to get up the line. But what typically happens is, the guys that you draft domestically, especially the college players, they're going to show what they are within 2 or 3 years. Where the Latin kid, you got to wait 5 or 6 years. So what happens is, our organization is ranked right now the best in minor league baseball according to some publications. So with the backfill of these Latin guys, once these guys get promoted, it's going to keep us strong. It'll keep us strong. And then with the new drafts and the backfill of like an Anderson De Los Santos, and a Basayo, Ben Cosme, and some of these arms we're talking about, those guys will raise our farm system and keep it strong. So because they're so far away. So you're going to start seeing the guys we signed 3 years ago start popping up into our top 30. And then, once you get the pipeline going and it's all the way up, then our hope is you see 1 or 2 40-man guys a year.
Nice. And we can't let you go without asking about one of our favorite players this entire system, in Gene Pinto. Was he the real headliner in that Jose Iglesias trade? And just looking out, how familiar were you with a lot of those international prospects that the Orioles got in some of these trades recently, and Pinto, Deson, De Leon, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, all the credit goes to our pro scouting department, Mike Snyder and his group. They identify these guys. Obviously, we're a collaborative group, so they ask us, hey, did you see this guy? Do you know this guy? Do you know this guy's makeup? And, we were able to support them in knowing their makeups, knowing what the kid's all about. Some of our scouts are from the same towns, so they know all these guys. And we were happy to acquire the guys we got. We were definitely involved in the discussions, but the identification was definitely done by our scouting staff.
Well, Koby, thank you so much for joining us. It's been exciting to see the Orioles really competing in the international market, and we know you're a big part of that. So thank you for taking the time out to join us today.
I really appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you so much.